All right, today we're tackling a really big idea. What if the physical world all around us, our Wi Fi, our data storage, even our power grids, wasn't controlled by these giant companies, but was actually built by, well, by us? It's a concept called DePIN, or Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. Let's dive right in. Seriously, just think about that for a second. The Wi Fi that covers your neighborhood, the cloud that's storing all your photos, the grid that powers your home. What if all of that wasn't run by some massive faceless corporation? What if you and your neighbors and your whole community actually owned and operated it together? That's the huge, game-changing idea right at the heart of DePIN. So what exactly is DePIN? Yeah, the name sounds a little complex, I get it, but the core idea is actually pretty simple. We're talking about a huge shift in who builds, who controls, and maybe most importantly, who actually benefits from all the physical stuff that makes our modern lives work. Okay, so DePIN is short for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital neighborhood project. Imagine you and everyone on your block decided to chip in and create your own super fast Wi-Fi network that covers everybody. No single company's in charge, you all are. DePIN just takes that same community idea and applies it to all kinds of real-world hardware and services. And this slide really nails the difference. For decades, we've had this top-down, centralized model, right? One huge company builds all the cell towers, another one owns these massive data centers. Well, DePIN just flips that whole script. It's a bottom-up approach, where the network is built and run by the people who are actually using it. The power gets spread out instead of being stuck at the very top. So you're probably thinking, okay, how in the world do you manage a network with thousands of people you've never even met? Well, that's where blockchain comes in. Just think of it like a public, completely transparent, and tamper-proof notebook that everybody can see. It keeps track of every single contribution, so it makes sure that when you share a resource, you get recognized and rewarded for it. It's all fair and totally out in the open. Okay, so the concept is cool, but how does this actually work in practice? Like, how can someone like you or me get involved and start contributing to one of these things? Let's break down the actual blueprint for how you can participate. It really just boils down to a pretty simple three-step flow. First, you contribute some kind of physical resource. That could be as simple as setting up a little wireless hotspot or sharing some unused hard drive space on your computer. Step two, the network automatically validates your contribution. It just checks that your hardware is online and doing what it's supposed to do. And finally, you get rewarded with crypto tokens for helping build and maintain that network. It's a really direct incentive to participate. So this all sounds pretty innovative, but what are the real advantages here? I mean, why go through all the trouble of building a decentralized network when we already have centralized ones that, seem to work okay? Well, it turns out there are some seriously powerful benefits to this whole community-driven model. And here's why this really starts to matter. First off, DePIN networks are just way more resilient. Since there's no single central point of failure, it's a lot harder for the whole system to go down. They're also much, much cheaper to expand because the community, the users themselves, are providing the hardware. But, maybe the most important benefit is that this model can bring services to places that big companies have just ignored because they weren't profitable enough. It really empowers innovation from the ground up. But, of course, it's not all sunshine and roses. Like with any new tech, DePIN faces some pretty big hurdles. And it's really important to have a balanced view, so let's dig into the challenges and the risks that you definitely need to know about. For one thing, reliability can be tricky. When you're depending on a bunch of individuals, coverage can sometimes be spotty. There's also a tech barrier. Setting up the hardware isn't always super easy for newcomers. And since the rewards are in crypto tokens, their value can swing up and down like crazy. And finally, the laws around these kinds of networks are still being figured out, which creates a lot of uncertainty. These are definitely real risks to think about before you jump in. But even with all those challenges, DePIN isn't just some theory for the future anymore. There are projects out there right now making a real-world impact, and they're giving us a pretty exciting glimpse of what this future could actually look like. Let's take a look at a couple of the heavy hitters. So first up is Helium. It's building a massive wireless network for small, low-power devices, what people call the Internet of Things. So think about stuff like pet trackers or air quality sensors. The model is DePIN, in a nutshell. People all over the world just buy a small hotspot, they plug it in at home, and in return, they earn crypto tokens for providing a little slice of network coverage right in their area. Another awesome example is Filecoin. Basically, it's a decentralized version of cloud storage. So instead of relying on a few huge data centers owned by a big tech company, Filecoin lets anyone with extra hard drive space on their computer rent it out to other people. It's creating this giant, global, open marketplace for data storage. So when you see these projects in action, you really start to get a sense of the massive potential here. By completely crushing the costs and barriers to building new infrastructure, DePIN projects could bring internet access and other vital digital services to parts of the world that have been totally left behind. I mean, this could be a total game changer for bridging the global digital divide. And that really brings us to the final thought here. The promise of DePIN is a world where the essential stuff we all rely on isn't just used by us, but it's built, owned, and governed by us. It's a really bold vision, for sure, and it leaves us with this one big, provocative question to think about. Could our shared world, both the physical and the digital, truly be run by us?